dokie, folks. With the new year fast approaching, I wanted to go through some of my notebooks from this past year, from 2025, and just flip through some of the pages that I've used and how I've used them. And hopefully you can gain some inspiration for how you want to use yours or ways that may be helpful for you. So we'll get right into it. Let's start with my monthly pages. These did not change much for me during the year. This is January. It's very chaotic, and I kind of like it, actually. I would like to potentially go back to this. This was when my monthly was my primary pre-planning page. Now it's kind of scattered around when I do pre-planning, but I kind of like the full chaotic look. And I like having everything in one spread to reference. I think that's what was most useful about this page, is because I color coded things and because I put everything in here, I can just turn to one spread and I don't have to search through my notebooks at all. Also, my monthlies stay in my journal all year round. So anything I want to reference, I have here. You also have November, which looks similar but still kind of different. There's not as much here. And this is kind of what I'm talking about with having the different, everything referenced in one place. There was a lot of kind of copy paste in my system at the beginning of the year, which I stopped because I felt it like it was excessive, but I think it actually helped me. So I think we're going to go back to the way that I was using it in January. I just need to actually implement that in my system. The rest of the pages we're going to go through are already in my archive. This is currently how I'm archiving my pages. My system is primarily a hobonichi that I debound and punched and put in an A5 binder, which has its pros and cons, but at the moment we're just going to focus on the pages themselves. So in my weeklies at the beginning of the year, again, I had kind of everything in one spread. And I really like this. I like just being able to look at it. And this was my week. I like, especially in green, are memories. And I like being able to look back on these. Another thing I did was for my habits, I was doing them by the week. And I just had this little flip out so that when you turn the page, it lines up. Now, when I did this, the book was still bound. So I'm not sure how well this would work in a ring system. But if you're using just a regular bound hobonichi, this works perfect. You just tip a little sheet on the edge of your page, write your habits, and then each week you just have the same habits. And you don't have to rewrite them, but they're still there in the weekly. And that worked quite well for quite a while. Another way I used the weeklies is these sections here. I ignored the timestamps, and each section was just a different function of planning for me. So at the top here, it's primarily memories, little bits and notes about the day that I wanted to record. This middle section is any events that I had during the day, anything that is time sensitive. I wasn't doing much at this time, so this little sliver of my page is all that I needed for that. And then this bigger chunk is my to-do lists. I kind of had this broken down by day of the week. You'll see that more later. And then I had my exercise log and my food log at the bottom. And by food, I mean, it's not really a food log, it's a dinner planner. So I would plan my meals for the week and try to stick to it. It didn't always happen. Another way I used the weeklies is I used each day for my journaling prompt. So journaling prompt at the top, answer below. Super simple way to use these pages, and I did like it. However, I think I like it having on my dailies more, because I did start missing my ability to use the weeklies. So if you don't use the weeklies at all, this is a great use for your weeklies. Or you could do just a monologue of this was my day. Here I kind of combined the sectioning off and my like weekly routine that I set. Again, I'm ignoring the timestamps, and I've got my habits up at the top. This is after I debound and punched my book, so it's in rings at this point when I was developing this way of doing things. So the side tab didn't work as well anymore. So I've got my habits at the top. I rewrote them every single day because I felt like I needed that at this point, because I needed to reestablish some habits. I had a baby earlier this year, and if anybody who has had a child knows that it's just kind of how it is. So here I have each day of the week. I have a different focus. So Monday is my home reset. Tuesday is for any like home admin work. Wednesday is for projects or anything I've been avoiding doing, I have to do. It's called anti-procrastination day. And Thursday was for deep cleaning. Friday is for self-care and for like weekend prep. So any food I want to make for the next few days so that I don't have to cook so much over the weekend, or any other cleaning I need to get done or anything like that, I would do on Fridays. And then this side tab is just my tasks that are not day sensitive. Actually, I take that back. These are my goals for the week. And then again, I have my memories in here and little notes and lots of stickers. I guess I had fun with stickers this week. I stuck with this layout for a while. It's suited me quite well. At the moment, I'm not really using the weeklies just because I feel like I need just daily planning. Because that's where we're at. It's one day at a time. Speaking of dailies, this kind of ended up being my basic layout for most of the year. I had a prompt on the side, and then I just wrote whatever I wanted. If it's boxed in at this point, it means it was written on a different day, but I just put it where I had space. Another way I use the dailies is that I would kind of ignore the dates and just put whatever I wanted. Here I have a layout of our apartment because I was trying to figure out how I wanted to set some things up. And this was fun to make. And I also used this for creating my cleaning zones and how I wanted those set up so that it flowed better throughout the week. I would be working on grouped rooms rather than room type, if that makes sense. So instead of doing bathrooms one day, I would do bathroom and the bedroom that is next to it. And that would be my zone for the week. Another thing I did is I just put notes about things. Pretty simple. I didn't try to think about it too much. In February, I started playing around with pocket-sized rings. So while archiving these, I actually just slid those pages right in here, which is one of the beautiful things about rings, is that even if you're switching sizes and whatnot, you can still archive them relatively together. Another thing I did in these monthly cover pages is I would write my prompts for the month. So they're right there and I can reference them. I will probably continue doing this for the foreseeable future because I really liked this. And it's the reason I stuck with writing prompts every day, is because it was right here. And it was a good way to fill my daily pages. And sometimes we just cover a page in stickers because we want it to be filled and we don't have the energy to write anything that day. I also had a A6 hobonichi that I debound and hole punched. And some of those pages are in here. Some of them I transferred the information into the A5. And here we went on a trip. So if you can see, I just chopped off the corners. And the time we were on vacation is all very easy to see. I think I got that idea from Helen at Coffee Monsters Co. She, whenever she goes on a trip, makes a special section in her notebook. Kind of like this. The only difference is I just took a smaller section and denoted that we went on a trip. And here I got to the point in the year where I was not using the dailies on the day of. This is completely ignoring the date of the page, and I just took notes. And that is okay. I was using my A5 and my A6 at the same time. So I've got my A6 pages in here and that were focusing on the daily pages. And then in my A5, I was just using it as a regular notebook and taking notes. I also used it as a scripture writing page at one point. I just filled any blank space with my scripture writing for the day. And I really liked this. If I had more time, I would continue doing this. But as it is, I've got like 3 different Bible studies that I'm doing. And yeah. That's about it for the hobonichi pages. And then I have my little pocket notebook, which, let's see if we can find a good page. That'll do. Which I have carried with me. The last couple of weeks have been so chaotic. I have just been putting notes in my phone, honestly. Which normally, I think that happens every once in a while, where I just need a break from the notebooks so that I can kind of reset and reintroduce myself to the value of having them. One of the things that I like best about the pocket notebook is that I have to review it and then organize the information into my bigger notebook. So then I actually revisit what I wrote. If I just throw it in the notes app though, I tend to forget about it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it helped you figure out how you might want to use your own pages this year and gave you ideas on how to be a little more organized and give you some peace of mind. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.